What's going on, guys? I'm here with one of our clients, Randall, and today we're going to talk about how he closed a 100K plus project. Randall, how's it going?
Great. Enjoying the program. Looking forward to getting it finished and actually getting some of it running.
Absolutely, man. I guess for anybody who doesn't know you, do you mind just giving us a little bit of background on you, kind of your backstory and how you started this company? Because I think you bought this company and that's how this started. But do you mind just giving us a little bit of background on kind of your story and how you got started here?
Yeah, I was a former naval officer and I wound up in New York at the end of my, and I was working in commercial real estate development for a long time. And I wound up, doing photo and video for our properties because I wasn't getting what I wanted. And so it became a side hustle. And then during COVID, I moved down here to Georgia and happy to be back in the South again, by the way. I'm originally from Texas. So it's, it's about time to get back south.
Northeast
Uh,
is tough sometimes, man, with the weather, it really
Behind
is.
enemy lines, damn Yankees. But anyway, I bought this company for my friend who was retiring because he has some health conditions and couldn't keep working. And he'd sort of farmed out all the business, but I got all the equipment and some name recognition and, some a good call list of crew members and stuff like that. And just basically just went to work, building it a new way. So that was about 3 years ago. And I've been working, been changing it around to be less of a freelancer model, more of a business model, operate
Yep.
more like a studio with some crews and doing a more cinematic approach than just a straight videography approach.
Absolutely. And I guess what was kind of the biggest problem you had jumping into the program? Because obviously you're still going through the program. We're still working through things, right? But I guess what was kind of that biggest problem coming in?
Well, it might. So for me, the hurdle that I had face is one that nobody can tell just by looking at us, and that's that I'm a little bit older than the average video guy, in your program. I know that's a real surprise to everybody. And so some of the some of the ways we're doing things like the Facebook ads and getting all this technology working together, with each other and talking to each other and all that, these are new concepts to me.
Yeah.
I did my MBA back in the 90s, right? And my business
Yep.
career was all before this big internet revolution. So I'm kind of navigating in that at the same time I'm helping my
Right.
clients work within that. So I'd say that's the biggest hurdle is just getting it all put together and running.
Right.
Uh, but on the other hand, the thing that I liked the best about it was the approach you take. You have the sales conversation kind of all laid out in ways of doing things that are specific to the video market. And so I found that really helpful even before I got through the program. The first thing I did after watching that was started using those things in conversations that I was already having with clients and prospects.
Yeah.
So as we're piecing the machine together, I'm already using the sales process.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a lot of low hanging fruit you can use to then, switch small things within the
Yeah.
process that obviously make big
Right.
results. And I always say it's like
Yeah. And
it's always the small hinges that swing those big doors as opposed to just it's not always a complete overhaul right off the bat. It's those little things that can make a big difference, obviously, in your situation with the 100K plus deal. And I guess was there any reason maybe you chose this program over maybe some of the other programs? Because obviously there's other programs out there. But is there any reason maybe you chose this one over other ones? Maybe there wasn't a reason at all.
I think for me, it was the fact that your system was turnkey. So I could go to one place and do everything instead
Yeah.
of having to piece it all together. And that your promotions that I was seeing were speaking business language and
Yeah.
not hype. I'm not. I don't respond well to sizzle. I really want to see the meat.
Yeah, absolutely. As I think most people would. And I guess is there any part of the program outside of just the sales that's been particularly helpful for you in this process?
Well, I'm really liking the new CRM as I get going on it. The one I was using before does not do some of the things I wanted to do.
Sure.
This one does. Yeah, it looks like it's going to be very effective for us, and so I'm real excited about that part too.
I love it. What were you using before, if you don't mind me asking?
I was using a product called Thrive,
Okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
which
Yep.
it's just general small business, right? What it doesn't do is let you set up that Kanban board look and move.
Opportunities
It
from piece to
doesn't do the
piece.
phase of the client life, right? Like from project to project, and
Yeah.
that's what I really wanted, so that I could do things, at this point, and then move them into a new category and track the project. And
Yep.
it doesn't have that capability.
Makes sense. And kind of a weird question, but I guess where do you feel like you might have been if you hadn't taken action? Because obviously it's a scary jump to invest, to make a change, to implement a new system, right? It's a big jump for a lot of people. I guess where do you feel like you might have been if you hadn't taken that jump and you hadn't made that bet on yourself in the company?
think I'd still be struggling to put all these pieces together myself, on a much longer time frame and much more frustrating scenario, right? I mean, if I'm having to guess about all this technology and integrate it myself and figure out what to use and then how it works and then how to use it, you guys have kind of come up with a lot of that already. So all I really have to do is customize my own information within it. So I think that's a big accelerator. Otherwise I'd still be going through all that and trying to figure it out one little piece at a time.
For sure. Absolutely. And last question, Randall. I guess if anybody is maybe watching this, maybe they're just on the fence about even just booking a call, speaking with the team. I guess what advice would you give them knowing what you know now?
So actually that happened. A guy messaged me on LinkedIn, and so I took his contact, and then he said, "Hey, I was looking at these guys, and I didn't know if it was a scam or if it's a real deal. What do you think?" And so I'll tell you what I told him. I said, "Yeah, it's definitely a real deal. I was able to put the information to good use before I even finished the program. I'm liking the improvements we're making both in our process and in our sales." And so, and I told him I closed a big project before I even had the machine up and running. And I just said, I think it's worth doing if you can afford it. If you're a serious business
Yep.
person, you've got the market presence to be able to afford something like this. It looks to me like it's going to supercharge growth. And if that's what you're after, then you should do it, right? You can't be
Yeah.
afraid to invest in yourself.
And I think a key thing there is it takes work. It takes work on your end. It takes work on our end, right? It's not a magic pill. Just
But
I
what
always
does,
like to say
right?
that
Everything worth doing takes work.
it does absolutely. Well, Randall, I appreciate your time, man. Congrats on the 100K deal. I'm excited to help you scale even further and close even more deals. And appreciate your time.
Appreciate it too. Been enjoying it a lot.
Absolutely, Randall. I appreciate it.